What does it take to make an Australian icon? A single piece of leather? Your fair share of musters? Drought and deluge? A stitch or two? And more years than you'd care to remember? What does it take to make an Australian icon? Well, it helps to be made here.
Welcome to the StoneX Stadium for the varsity match between Oxford University and Cambridge University. A lot of tests coming their way this year for these players, but today it's the only test they want to win. Now, three men joining me know all about this sort of tie. On the far side there, it's great to have George Robson, ex-Harlequins European Challenge Cup winner as well. In the middle, we'll come to you in a minute, Jack. He played in this match here last year, and Don Warlock is here as well. It's great to have you along. Both of you two on the ends of this panel. You know what it's like to win this tie. 2018 when they won representing Oxford, you were the captain. For you, Jack, in the middle, didn't quite go to plan last year. Let's start with opening the old wound, shall we?
Yeah, I mean, last year wasn't the most successful time for us. I mean, we put up a good fight, but in the end, Cambridge did have some experience. They controlled the game better, and I think overall they did deserve to win. But yeah, coming back, it's a little bit of a flashback to what happened, but it's good to be back, good day. Hopefully get some rugby.
Absolutely right. We'll come to the strengths of Cambridge in just a few moments' time. Before we do, though, what's it like for yourself coming to this stadium? Because you didn't play here in your day when it came to the varsity match, did you? What's it like then for you being here to see these players? I know you've got your Oxford hat on firmly, pressed down hard.
Yeah, look, it's great. I played here a couple of times for Quins against Saracens. They weren't always positive experiences at the time. They used to get the better of us, but I think it's fantastic that they've got this in this venue, this surface, this time of year as well. I think it lends itself to some real free-flowing rugby, hopefully. And you know, as you said earlier on, the pressure's on today for both teams on the basis of exactly how you started this off. How was your varsity? That's the question every one of these players is going to be getting. in perpetuity for the rest of their lives. So no pressure to them when they're running out on the pitch, right?
No, and it's nice when you can say you won yours, isn't it, Dom? It's nice to say you captained yours as well.
Yeah, and what a privilege that was, what an occasion that was, and I was lucky to take the pitch with George, and it's quite a unique experience, this Oxford-Cambridge build-up to the varsity, which climaxes in this massive moment for everyone's careers. And George played top flight rugby. I was lucky to play some big games of rugby, but the varsity experience is quite unique, isn't it? Because it's the climax of both groups' journeys together, and like how you finish, it ultimately reflects how your memories of it, and that's the biggest thing. You come away with this with like tainted memories, Jack. Obviously, you'll reflect very positively on your experience there, but it's never going to be quite as good as when you win it. So it's a massive occasion for all 46 lads involved in the game.
We'll talk about the strengths of Oxford in a few moments' time, but if Jack can grab the mic for a second, because you played against pretty much this Cambridge side. There are quite a lot of returning Blues, 12, 11, that sort of number returning Blues. A couple of big names missing, like Jamie Benson's not taken to the pitch, so that gives you guys a bit of an advantage as well.
Yeah, it'll be quite nice for the Oxford boys not to have Jamie back on the pitch. I think they've got a pretty experienced team now after the loss of last year. They can take a lot of that experience and kind of put it into this game. The Cambridge team look a bit different this year. They've lost some big names who controlled that game really well. So yeah, it'll be an interesting fight up front. Yeah.
People like Tim Andrew, 4-time Blue, American international Ryan Santos out there as well. They could be the difference to the day. That is what their captain has been saying anyway. They've got explosive power. They can do something out on the pitch. So how do you nullify threats like those when you identify the threats the opposition has?
Well, it's a challenge. There's always two ways you view any game of rugby. Looking at the opposition, analysing what they do, the threats they present, or you really hone into what you can do. And yes, Cambridge have got some really, really dangerous players, and we saw that last year. A couple of them playing again this year. Some top quality talent in that team. But speaking to my brother-in-law, who's been coaching, Mark Atkinson's been coaching the Oxford team. Speaking to Chris Harris, who's been coaching the Oxford team. There's been a real dialing into what they're about, what they're about this year, and they want to put out what they believe is their best rugby this year. So yes, I think those lads will present a big threat. I think Oxford's goal is to show the best of themselves today.
Makoto Tosa, another one to look out for, the Japanese international. Their captain, though, Fergus Hughes, is saying that they've got things about them that we don't need to write off. And also Ben Gompels, we should mention Ben Gompels, he's leaving university at the end of this year, his 10th year at uni, so he's going to be wanting to leave this one on a high. But let's cast our eyes and across the way then to Oxford, strengths that Oxford always bring.
Yeah, well, again, speaking to some of the coaching staff at Oxford, I know that we've spoken about, okay, do you look at the opposition? Do you look at what they're doing? Another thing that's changed in the last couple of years, right, is this surface and the time of year we're playing this, right? The sun's out, so I know they've done a lot of work on their fitness and making sure they can move the ball as well as the territory side of things. So I think that might be something that's a bit of a change from last year and something they're developing into their game. Luke
Wiley was saying that it was disappointing for their season really with a 50% win rate. They were hoping for more than that, but they were taking each game, they were calling it the 14 peaks. So saying you take one game by game. It doesn't necessarily matter on the result as long as there is a gain at the end of each match.
Yeah, I think what Dom alluded to earlier is it's such a weird system. It's not a league. You're playing these exhibition matches, and I think there's the common phrase that you can lose all your matches in the season and then win your varsity and you've had a successful season. So yeah, I mean, as George said, there is pressure to go out there and win, but what Luke's speaking to Luke, going through that 14 peak is a good way to look at it in the season.
I was chatting to the captain, Luke, just the other day, and he was giving me a bit of a rundown of what the team got up to as a pre-season, and it seemed to be mostly doing something quite extreme, like a mini pre-season tour of the heart of Wales. They did 16-kilometre race with 700 metres of climbing, 3 ice-cold lake swims, followed by a lot of drinking. Then they went to Georgia and Istanbul, where they played a lot of rugby, very physical rugby, followed by a lot of drinking. And they also did the St John's breakfast, so every Monday morning they would then get together at 6:30, have a workout, and then have a humongous great great big breakfast, then they go off to their lectures and things like that. Doesn't mention drinking on that one, but it is all about getting the collective together. It's all this social side of things as well, isn't it, George? When you look at this sort of build-up, it's
I'm not
so
sure why
important.
you're looking at me with the breakfast here, but yeah. No, you're right, and they've obviously gone to some, I don't know who was in charge of the touring party committee there, but that's some pretty tough locations to travel in. You know, Georgia sounds like apparently a good wine over there as well, though. But no, look, I think the bond you build on both sides. You know, I've got really close friends who've played for the Light Blues as well at Cambridge. The bonds you forge with each other in the lead up, it is the peak, and it's where all the pressure is now. And if anything, it makes it even more, even more pressured on the pitch, because these are people you know you're going to be friends with for the rest of your lives. So there's even more kind of pressure to make sure you don't let each other's down, and don't
look at him like that.
No, I'm looking at Dom, right? Because I mean, speaking candidly from my experience, right, I was really lucky. I had some great players around me. Ben Ransom had a great game that day, and I know it's a shame for it's the same for both teams. There'll be some key players in key moments. I know from a dark blue perspective, I know that Otis Walker as a key ball carrying threat, I think it'll be interesting to see what he can do. And on the flip side, that battle of the number 8s is going to be really, really fascinating, right? You were sharing earlier on about that backstory as well.
Yeah. Well, Makota Tosa, he actually played with Ian Kench, the Oxford head coach. So it'll be an interesting thing. We call him the traitor on our side. So
it always comes down to traitor. Yes. It always comes down to one thing: who leaves the StoneX Stadium on this occasion as victors? Dom, final thoughts before we head over to the commentators. What are you expecting?
Well, first of all, I'm glad they weren't drinking into their 6:30 breakfast at St John's College, because they've got a problem if that's the case. No matter how good the teamwork is there. What's my expectation of the game? Intensity. Like we've all talked, that pressure's come up as a word's been constantly talked about. That's going to bring intensity to the game, all right? And George mentioned this building into our game. I think it's the team, the individuals that can manage the pressure, manage the nerves, manage the anxiety around this pinnacle experience for both teams will show the best of themselves, all right? And so intensity, but who can manage those nerves will come out on best.
Managing your nerves, that's what it all comes down to, and the players are about to make their way out onto the pitch in front of the crowd here for the Varsity Match 2025. So without any ado, let's get straight to our commentators, Simon Ward and Rachel Burford.
Thank you, Bryn. Good afternoon, everyone. Good to have you with us as we get set for this pinnacle of the Oxbridge sporting calendar. It's been over a year since that historic win for the Light Blues. A lot of time for both sides to assess, to adjust and prepare for this return to the StoneX Stadium. A new dawn on a new varsity contest, and of course a new sponsor with us too. Proud and delighted to welcome the iconic Australian bootmaker RM Williams as the official partner of the Varsity Match, with branches open in Cambridge as well as Soho and New Bond Street here in London. It's great and fitting to have them with us as we get set for the Men's Varsity 2025. Let's take a look at the two lineups for you to start with. To begin with the Dark Blues. Over half of this Dark Blues team have unwanted memories from last year's trip to Hendon, of course. Most of them wearing double digits today, with Captain Luke Wiley able to build an experienced and pacey backline there. The scrum is anchored by up-and-coming tight head Michael Fanker. Fresh as second row Ben Hartigan may well show prominently in the line-out and the loose. Fergus Dick, a valuable cog in that back row trio. For Cambridge, well, Fergus Hughes has also been able to select plenty of seasoned heads this afternoon. 9 of the starting 15 there, 12 in the squad have been here before. His biggest call though brings 18-year-old fresher Nathan Bottomley in as fly half. The youngster's inexperience being counterbalanced by his scrum half David Holdroyd, winning his 51st cap for the Light Blues. There appears to be good balance in all units there, with impact available off the bench too. So there's the two groups for you. People basking in the sunshine on the far side. We're in the dark side over on this stand, but hardy souls that we are, we shall crack on. It has been a beautiful day, of course, with the 4G pitch. Doesn't matter so much. I'm Simon Ward, alongside me World Cup winner Rachel Burford. But we keep talking about history and memories of last year. Does that really play into the psyche for both teams this afternoon, or can they eradicate it?
Good afternoon. Yes, I think what's been done before is always going to have an effect on you as you come into the game. You'll look back on those memories, whether they were the right thing that happened to you, whether you came away as the winning team. You'll take away those moments. But then also there's so much you can learn from a loss as well. So, you know, it's almost clean slate for these two teams. You've got a mixture of different and new players coming into it. So it's all about how you perform in this 80 minutes, who's going to rise to the occasion and perform. And
the first 10-15 minutes is, as ever, is always key, just to set the table, to get heads in gear in the right place, in the right area, and make sure what they've been practicing on the training paddocks at Grange Road and Iffley Road come to fruition. That's what they're aiming for. There's Fergus Hughes with mascots. I'm sure they're not security, but he has been, as ever, a key character. That's one of the somewhat unique parts of varsity rugby, of course, that the captains are effectively the DORs as well as the players and captains, and they make lots of the big decisions. So Messrs Hughes and Wiley on the left there bring out their charges to get set for this year's varsity. The wind seems to have died a little bit. When we had the women's game earlier on, it was quite considerate. You can see the flags there with a little bit of life in them. But it should be interesting to see, certainly from the kickers, Nathan Bottomley and Ben Scher, the two 10s on view this afternoon, how they try and manoeuvre their teams around and play the game in the right area. Referee Mike Hudson settles the officiating trio in the middle there as we wait to start proceedings with, of course, the national anthem. The formalities concluded. Focus now on the 80 minutes of rugby ahead of them, which makes or breaks the season, such as the varsity rugby calendar. This is the cup final. The 143rd varsity is about to get under starters' orders. The high IQs that have brought these young men to these renowned seats of learning are now to adjust their brain cells and bodies to work to a different outcome. It's the battle of the blues. The other place up against the other place in this age-old rivalry. Shoe that tabs is the call from the dark blue camp. GDBO, the light blue response. It will all be decided in the next 80 minutes as Nate Bottomley sends it up into the dark blue 22. Beautiful day. Bit of a breeze behind Oxford at the moment. So see whether that impacts certainly on the kicking from hand. Jack Hamilton the Sydney sider in the blue 9 jersey. Bottomley feeds George Bland. Got over an hour off the bench to score a try last season. Ryan Santos, the first Philippine to play in this contest in its long history, dating back to 1872. David Holdroyd.
Side entry. Blue 6, side entry.
The call goes against Fergus Deck. 2 Ferguses wearing 6 this afternoon in either camp.
Yep.
Nathan Bottomley, what a day it is for the 18-year-old fresher. Slept on the captain's floor pre-season, has been totally committed to the cause. It was a tight call along with Jack Allenson, who's on the bench this afternoon for the Light Blues, as to who was going to play that pivotal role.
5 guys. Numbers early, guys, yeah.
As the experienced voices of Matt Riddington outside and David Holdroyd inside to help him should he need it. Ben Gompels gets the call from the captain, comes round to add a little bit of oomph to the driving maul.
Same maul, same maul. Advantage.
Advantage call there for Cambridge.
7. 7 collapse.
Well, it's been a good start, hasn't it, for Cambridge?
We'll go corner.
Brilliant line-out
collapse.
driving maul. Can see that that's going to be a weapon for them this afternoon. Just discipline there from Oxford early into this game. Just can't seem to get out of their own 22.
Take the 5.
And Fergus Hughes immediately indicating his ambition by opting for the line-out call, not taking the 3 points.
Yeah, I think it's a good call, you know, on the back of a really successful driving maul moments ago, as well as earning a penalty. The ref will be really hot on all the entry points from Oxford here.
Aidan Beaumont is the target.
Maul. That's 1
Two
backwards.
6'5" second rows in light blue colours.
That's a tackle.
The tallest man on the park. There's the captain, Hughes. Good day at the moment from Oxford, holding their discipline, getting their shoulders in. Going left, and left again.
Hold it.
Hughes leading the way. Oxford defence just pushing their opposition back towards the 22. No doubt that will please Chris Harris, their defence coach since September. The Scottish international,
Get that number, please.
British line, of course, and Gloucester player. It's a good take in the end from Wolf and Morn,
2 not rolling.
but they will go back for the earlier call.
2 not rolling.
It looks like they're signalling towards the post for this one, but you can see there defensively from Oxford, not dipping into the breakdown, just trying to keep as many men on their feet to really fill that field. In the end, forced Cambridge back. Again, the discipline in the breakdown, not rolling away, has just gifted them now an opportunity to take 3 points.
Good stuff. You're fine.
George Bland is going to be their chosen kicker, certainly to start with. Nothing like a simple kick. Certainly he's kicking into the wind, but right in front of the posts to start with. And a simple 9-iron ensures 3 points for the Light Blues.
Very good management from the captain there on the first penalty, back the team to go to the driving maul, but they're using his experience right in front of the sticks. It's an opportunity to take 3 points early on.
Cheers. Which way are you going? Right, so. Yeah, okay, out your way.
Harry Bridgewater wearing 15 this afternoon. He was at 13 last season and was, of course, the fly half the year before. So a man of many skills.
No, backwards off Oxford.
Eventually, it's Cambridge who snaffle the loose ball. Good, quick, defensive line speed from Oxford, though.
Now release, now off. Use it. Get up, get up.
Well,
Advantage, lost forward.
nobody able to take control of the moment.
No, leave,
So it's Oxford looking to settle. Hughes coming in from the side. Blatant from the Cambridge captain.
Yeah, desperate measures there, trying to come in and disrupt. But it was great work from Hartigan. Put pressure on the 9.
Same as theirs.
Which then forces the kick not to go in the direction he wanted to. You can see their intent around the breakdown. Really want to try and be disruptive.
Edge of that white line, please. Just step off. Edge of that white line for me.
As you see, they come from the side of the ruck, doesn't come through the middle. Now this gives Oxford a great platform and their first opportunity in the 22.
Hold it there.
Will
I put them on the
Roddy.
right mark. I want you up. That's too big a gap.
There's
On the
Tom
mark,
Toes,
and stay there.
Ben Hartigan,
Thank you. Perfect.
probably Otis
Stay
Walker,
there.
tail gunner. That looks like Ben Hartigan, I think, is at the back, and at the front it's Walker. And the impetus and momentum into the line-out drive, impressive from Oxford. Cambridge working overtime to deflect the movement of that ball. Hamilton puts it out to the waiting pod. Ollie Kirk leading the way. Fanker. Fanker's down, and Michael Fanker gets the first Oxford points on the board. Well worked from the line out. Good stuff from Nick Savetta's coaching. You can tell the USA man has got his imprint all over those particular moves from the set piece, and it pays off with Fanker's try.
Yeah, it's absolute quality. First opportunity into the 22, and they absolutely strike. But Fanker's such a powerful man. You've got to chop him low. If you give him an inch, he'll take it.
All good on the place, guys.
And Fanker's already played in the Premiership Rugby Cup for Hartbury this season, so he is on the rugby radar. It's fair to say. Actually converted from back row. Another from your neck of the woods, from Medway Rugby Club.
Great club.
I'm sure it is. Harry Bridgewater with his first pot at the posts. Tim Andrew getting in his face, but it didn't deter him from slobbing it through.
It just shows how discipline's so critical, isn't it? We saw at one end of the field where Cambridge got a penalty in front of the post, took 3 points, and then the same gifted to Oxford, penalty, kick to the corner, and you're punished for it. So discipline's going to be a real key factor in today's match.
We talk about whether form plays into this cup final of a game. And both teams have, well, variation. Oxford 50% win rate, but with a variety of opposition, including Leicester Tigers, Ealing Trailfinders, pro teams there, Rams and Richmond, semi-pro, international invitational teams, UCLA, Stockman from Australia, classical historic fixtures with the Navy, TCD. But it's about what comes into this game, and Cambridge certainly showed well in the Michaelmas term. They won 5 out of 6, and since the turn of the new year they won 3 of 4. So they will be content without being happy with their lot as Ben Sher tries to run his way out of the 22. didn't work on that occasion down the right flank, so the forwards dig in and do some of the hard yards to set the stall out for Jack Hamilton. Hamilton scored the only Oxford try here last season.
Tackle, release! Tackle, off! Yeah, he's done it. No, he's done it.
Into that midfield.
Vantage, high tackle, 10. 10, high. Lower, yes, lower. Lower.
Apologies if I called Mr. Bridgewater Harry. It is, of course, Henry. I don't want an email from his parents. So apologies for that. But Henry is on the scoreboard and now is back in defensive mode as Bottomley puts Cambridge back into the Oxford 22.
Blue on the edge here, please. Blue on the edge here, guys. Oxford on there. Edge here. Don't know.
Ben Gompels playing in his last game of varsity rugby, 10 years a student. He hasn't wasted time though. Here he comes round on the corner. Quick presentation, Holdroyd.
And tackle, off, tackle.
Cambridge forwards led again by the skipper Fergus Hughes. Christie, first time blue for the biotechnology student from St John's College. Half brothers have got 4 blue, so carrying the family weight.
Quality turnover from Fanker. Just in over the ball so quickly. You can see both teams are really trying to assert themselves from a physicality point of view.
Stay on our feet to compete, guys.
Dominance in the tackle area. Both teams trying to win that collision battle. On that occasion, Oxford come out on top and survive again.
Henry Bridgewater finding a good release up to the Oxford 10-metre line.
5. Guys, take the 10.
Well, Roddy,
take the 10 and I'll move them.
from
Take the 10.
Newport Salop Rugby Club, there's 2 of them in fact, because the opposition scrum half, Dave Holdroyd, is also from that Shropshire side. Take from Walker.
No, nothing. Stay here. Stay here.
Hamilton puts a good looking box kick up. Good take in the end from Ryan Santos. Big man Santos has been playing in midfield as well as on the wing. But the defensive capabilities of Luke John got him the 13 shirt this afternoon. Fresher Dave, as Dave Holdroyd is called by his mates. Judging by his size and look. There he is. Winning his 51st cap. It's quite remarkable. Luke John throws big and wide to Tim Andrew. Andrew bounces off Thomas Muse. High tackle is going to give Cambridge a penalty.
High tackle. Some injury here. Get the medics on, please. Medics on.
I think Muse has come out the worst of that particular collision.
Their physical start, they're fine. I'm just giving you a penalty for that. Yeah.
Cambridge, although behind on the scoreboard, will be satisfied, I guess, with the way that the first quarter of an hour has worked, by, of course, the try for the other side, but they've had plenty of possession and territory. Just need to build up and build up to get over that white line. They're
It's a
just
penalty
looking to
who's
see.
captain, guys. I know Luke obviously is now, but if you're vice captain, so you've got another penalty, 14 high tackle there, right? That's the second high tackle you've had. Be mindful of that, plus the penalty count now, right?
Well, no.
Time for him, but make sure you
Far
keep
side.
him
In
down.
fact, it's not Thomas Muse, is it? I can see Muse. There he is at the back with that multicoloured scrum cap.
Parky, anything to report?
Big crowd here. It's got bigger and bigger throughout the course of these two games, and fun in the sun at the moment.
Give me a little while. Brilliant.
You down in Southwest?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Makes you still doing the chance of me.
Yeah, it'll be a little while.
Still see you like that.
Just talking to Ian Kench, the Oxford coach, about clearing minds after last year. A clean slate, as he told me, to prove themselves. Undergrad heavy, so it is a fairly young Oxford side. Not satisfied with the season thus far with that 50% win rate, but they have certainly been pressing and pressing on. Kench, of course, the new head coach. This is the first post-James Wade Oxford side that we've seen in 13 varsities, I think. Wade, if you're watching, I hope you're well, and no doubt you are missed here.
Decent knee injuries, and he dislocated it 3 weeks ago.
I think that is Luke Wiley, and that doesn't look good. The kneecap has been an issue for the Oxford captain, dislocated as it was 2 years ago. He's had issues with it this season as well, and that does not look good. And it doesn't matter what colour you're wearing this afternoon, you will not want to see anybody leave a varsity match inside a quarter of an hour. And yeah, it is Luke Wiley. Dislocated that knee again in November and worked so hard to get himself back and fit for this contest.
We've got the stretcher coming on, so
the stretcher's been called, and it doesn't look good for the Oxford University number 12. Mentioning Ian Kench, he was actually coached for England counties 10 years ago by a certain James Shanahan, who is of course now the Cambridge coach. So 9 degrees of separation and all that, and has since coached against him for Richmond. James Shanahan coaching Blackheath now, although it's just been announced he'll be going to Bury St Edmunds for next season. A little bit shorter travel for the Norfolk man. Shanahan's Cambridge side looking for 3 in a row, which hasn't been done since 2007. And last year, of course, the Light Blues won 5 out of the 6 rugby varsities. Has to be said, so far this year, last weekend, the Greyhounds beat the Cambridge 60s 32-27 at Iffley Road, followed by the Whippets putting 50 points on the Centurions. So Oxford 2, Cambridge 0 thus far.
No, are you captain now? Yeah, Mike. Sorry, what's your name? Jack. Jack, okay. Just spoke to Pat Lee, I think. Just penalty count. Just be mindful of it. That's 2 high tackles now, right?
The crowd showing their appreciation for the Oxford skipper, as all the Cambridge side are as well. Luke Wiley just making sure that Jack Hamilton, who's taking over the captaincy, the light blue stepping forward to pat the departing Oxford skipper on the shoulder.
Just wait, please. Okay, good to go. Jack, okay? Okay, turn back on. High tackle, 14.
So play can resume after that hiatus for the exit of Luke Wiley.
Yeah, it's right down here, Nicky. Just the edge of this line here,
And
boys.
both teams have to get the
Edge of the
engines
white line.
revved and going again. I wonder what
Oxford are in the right
impact
place.
that will
Cambridge,
make
step up.
on, particularly
Yeah.
on the Oxford
Stay there,
side.
thank you, stay there.
Jack Sander, wearing
Perfect.
22,
Stay
comes
on
on
the
for
mark
his
I've given
first
you.
blue, won a rugby league blue a couple of years ago. The take at the tail from Hughes into that midfield. Reddington feeds on to his centre partner Luke John.
Advantage to blue offside. Still playing
Will
two
Roddy
blue offside.
stepping up too quickly for the referee's liking, so the advantage call is there for Cambridge should they need it. Bottomley, he's looking, trying to keep the opposition defence honest. Tim Andrew, the feed out to John. John out to Ryan Santos. Santos, the USA Sevens flyer, just needs a bit of space to show what he can do. They're going to go
No
back for the
advantage, we're coming
call.
back. Two offside.
Again, just discipline for
Time off.
Oxford.
Jack here, please.
Referee's already spoken to him one time, and I feel like this might be the
There's
final
just too many
warning.
penalties now. Okay, have a chat because the next time it could be a yellow card. Have a chat. No, just do it quickly.
Mike Hudson issuing the final warning for the Oxford side, and you can see Jack Hamilton just laying down the law
Okay, Jack.
to his new charges.
Okay, where are you going?
You can see that they want to get off the line, they want to be really physical, but you've got to do it in a controlled manner, because otherwise, if you don't strike that right balance, you end up in this position now where you're now on a warning, and we're only 20 minutes into the game.
Well, immediately Fergus Hughes tells his kicker to go for the posts. George playing with plenty of family support here. His dad's been an ever-present at Grange Road, I'm told, for the Cambridge games. Oakham School graduate now, stepping up for his second pot at the posts. Job done. And the deficit is down to a solitary point early on in this first quarter. Get the feeling that's a good call from the Cambridge captain, Hughes, just to make sure they've got some return, some reward for the possession and territory they've had thus far.
Yeah, absolutely, and you've got to think they have got the win, so it is challenging to get into the corner and keep possession. So if you've got an opportunity that gives you 3 points, you're closing down that scoreboard, and now within 1 point, it's a smart decision.
And up three. That's it, Mike, that's it. Touch the empties.
Sure can't keep it in. In fact, he stepped in to touch, so it's going to be a Cambridge line out as well.
I'll put Oxford here. There. It's their line out. Take it
That is a much better clearance from Helroyd. He's been under pressure, hasn't he, at the breakdown on the last few kicks that he's made. But with the added error there from Oxford, gives them better field position, and they've got the ball to be able to also clear their lines even further now.
Bumpers be used to playing here, played in the Premiership Rugby Cup for Bristol against Saracens a few years back. Andrew, good awareness from Bridgewater, covering the gap, getting there, securing possession and getting the penalty too. So good work from the Oxford 15. I think
it's come from the mark, please.
Jack Hamilton's blushes have been saved there. The referee saying it wasn't from the mark, so the Aussie scrum half will be thankfully handing the ball back to his fullback.
Yeah, he was saved, wasn't he? But we see so many players do that time and time again. But
On the halfway, guys, take the halfway.
great little spot,
Cambridge,
wasn't it?
take
Off
the
the line
halfway.
out, down the
Halfway,
left-hand
guys,
side
take the
there.
halfway, please.
Got a really good little small line break. Good decision to put boot to ball over the first defender, but really well covered there from Bridgewater.
Walker, the target once again at the front.
Five through the middle, keep it up. And release it now. Ball's here. Leave it. Ball's available here. Oxford, stop.
Muse got very close to the front of that. Tim Andrew has played against Thomas Muse many a time, so they know each other well.
And away 5 now, that's enough.
And in the end, it was the Cambridge left wing who did all that was needed for him. He'll be glad to get to the 20-minute mark. Only made 17 minutes in last year's contest. Shoulder problem took him from the pitch. Holdroyd again testing out Bridgewater's handling capabilities, but once again the fullback threads it through, showing good form with the boot. Certainly Henry Bridgewater thus far, local lad, went to Merchant Taylor's School at Northwood, not far from here, and a member of Chess Valley Rugby Club. We're near, from memory, near Rickmansworth, I think. Leading his third blue this afternoon. End of the first quarter, Rach. Couldn't be closer, obviously, with the solitary point, but both teams now should feel settled despite Oxford losing their captain.
Yeah, you start to think that they're starting to work out the oppositions where there might be opportunities, and you can see that with Oxford. Very happy to put boot to ball, try and ping Cambridge in that bottom right-hand corner there. We know that there's a strong wind. Also putting the ball up from Hamilton, nice and high, putting the full-back and wing under pressure from Cambridge underneath that sunshine as well. Just trying to force an error and pin them in that corner.
Okay, we're all good? Okay, time back up. Edge of this white line, please.
Ben Gompels, who had two of his brothers who went to Oxford. So I wonder what the bragging rights are. Certainly after last year, he would have enjoyed that historic win here against the Dark Blues. Good take from Aidan Beaumont. RGS Guildford alumni. There he is, at the front of that. Holdroyd completes the exit. Muse does well to take that under pressure from Tim Andrew. Roddy. Still a sense of caginess about the way that both teams are using the box kick.
Oxford definitely looking to use it a bit more of a tactical piece, either trying to pin them, and then as you saw there, Cambridge dropped 3 deep in the backfield, so went for the small little roller, just trying to change that picture.
7, stop.
And we're not quite at England against Scotland standards, but it's certainly a key feature and factor in the game plans of both sides in the 22 minutes we've seen.
Thank you. In the air, nothing more.
Yeah, well, it's quite often that you can get into the error of overplaying in this middle part of the pitch, which can then lead to a turnover, could give the opposition easy territory. If you've got efficient kickers that can put you into a better field position or turn that point of pressure, whether that's a high box kick or a little roller, which is then turning the defences.
But the game feels like it's been compacted into that middle third for the last 10 minutes or so, doesn't it? I don't think either side have been in what they call the red zone, the 22s. Line out doesn't go to plan for Oxford. I think they've been able to rescue the scraps. Hamilton.
Okay, there's a knock on there, but there's also a knock on the line out. We'll come back for the first one.
Cambridge hand just knocking the ball forward, which will give the put in to the Dark Blues. Dark Blues.
Okay, on me.
Been working with Wade Thompson once again on their scrummaging.
We're outside.
Been an intense season, I'm told, a tough programme been instigated to make sure they were in fine fettle for this. Remember last year there was a 14.5 kilo difference between the two packs in favour of Cambridge. It's not quite that much this season, it's 5.75 kilos a man. 850 kilos plays 804. But as we all know, the technical aspect can eradicate that difference.
Cambridge are pretty narrow here on this scrum. They can hold up that midfield, then they're going to have a huge amount of space on the outside channel.
Advantage call. Bridgewater has to rescue things, gets through the gap. Good work from the fullback again. Numbers to the left. Hart again. The 18-year-old second row taking his team into the 22, but they'll go back for the scrum penalty.
Scrum penalty.
Certainly the Oxford scrum has been showing well recently. They had in the games against Leicester Tigers and Ealing Trailfinders had no scrum penalty issued against them. So showing well in against the two professional teams in their fixture list.
Just one collapse.
Now, bearing in mind what we've seen the last 10 minutes or so in terms of territory, big opportunity you would think for Oxford now, some 7-8 metres out from the Cambridge line.
Yeah, certainly you'd think Deja Vu potentially come in, look for a strong platform, driving maul.
Fergus Dick is the target. There he is, wearing 6, former Loughborough University captain. That's coming in to add a little bit more oomph to this driving maul. And they're over. Makes the difference. Who's coming up with the ball? I think it is the hooker, Will Roddy. I was really hoping Will Roddy was going to score because he's got islands in the stream as his try-scoring track. And who doesn't love a little bit of Dolly Parton on a varsity day?
Well, that's brilliant work from the pack. Initially, Cambridge did so well to stop it, but then the secondary shove came on. You just see the members of the Cambridge team starting to splinter left, right and centre, which gives them a free run in. See there, Roddy unmarked in the end. But brilliant efficiency from Oxford. 2 big opportunities in the opposition 22 and managed to convert that into tries.
Well, as my good mate Mr. Flatman always tells me, if you set up a line-out driving maul properly, it's impossible to stop legally. And the work of Nick Savetta and co has once again paid dividends. Bridgewater. Again on target. Good idea so far off the tee. And for the first time, Oxford have a 2-score lead.
It's great having your kicker on form as well, especially if that's going to be a weapon when you're going to be potentially driving mauls into the 5-metre channel. You need to have a strong kicker because we've seen these games come down to those moments and those points, whether they've been taken or missed.
And especially in the minds of the opposition as well, because if they know if they impede and give away any opportunity off the tee, the opposition are likely to maximise that opportunity. Hamilton Sends it high and long. Bottomly. Feeds out to Bland. Bridgewater recovers. No, he was out. Well, the officials have not picked that up, but it looked to the eye that Bridgewater had stepped over the 22 on that one, but he's got away with it. So Oxford will move into the Cambridge half once again.
Let's go, Cambridge!
Yeah, let's have a look at it here. So, oh no,
well, I
he's
stand
right.
corrected. I stand corrected. It was the hop at the end that did me. So correct call from the officials, as ever, of course. Sole arbiters of the law and all that. Good steal, and Walker puts it back into his backline. Scher folds it out to Dan Stokes. Bridgewater again, just turning the Cambridge defence. Good reaction from Holdroyd. My goodness me, he needed to pull that one in. Cambridge once again back in their 22.
Such good transition from Oxford there, from their line-out, reacting really quickly, moving the ball to the outside channels. And again, as you say, pushing Cambridge back deep into their 22.
Half an hour gone, we've got 10 minutes to go until the break. Is the wind a big enough factor that Oxford need to look at their lead to see whether it's enough? Because certainly in the women's varsity, it was a stronger wind, and you know, the 15-0 that Oxford turned around at half-time made the difference.
Yeah, you certainly want to capitalise it as much as you can. You know, you want to try and get a free try score from it.
Roddy released into the 22. Big numbers to the left. Oh, just when they wanted to release that ball down the dark blue line.
Yeah, okay.
I think it was Luke Newland just getting in his scrum half's way there. Great burst though from Will Roddy. No doubt buoyed by that try. And a lovely little play there to open the door for the hooker.
Yeah, I saw them doing it in the warm-up, just attacking that seam between the back of the line out and the first defender. It was a lovely break from Roddy. But yeah, it's just that indecisive moment, just when it was really critical. So just breaks away a little inside pop. And then he's a mobile front rower, isn't he? Still looking for support here, but just here, just hesitation. Do I hit flanker? Do I not? And then that's where the crossing comes in.
Yeah, beg your pardon, it was Fergus Dick, of course, the blindside flanker that was right next to his scrum half on that occasion.
That's one, Stein. Okay, start using.
Holdroyd getting good height in it, but Bridgewater always seemingly up to it. His handling has been rock solid so far, as well as his kicking. There's the hooker, Roddy, having to go from further back this time. Scher looking to get width on it. Daniel Stokes trying to adjust the line at pace. Scher opens the door for Wolfenmall. Hat-trick against TCD. So you know there's a bit of cutting edge out wide for the Dark Blues. Holdroyd having the cover, but that is a wonderful kick. No 50-22 is the call though, but it takes Oxford once again into the Cambridge red zone, and the Canadian fly-half doing just what his team needed.
Yeah, it's a brilliant strike, isn't it? Played to one edge, recognised nothing's on, sees there's some space in the backfield. Really unfortunate to not get the 50-22, but you can't pass the ball back into the half to be able to go after that opportunity. Again, it's still danger zone here for Cambridge.
Big pressure on this throw from Gompels. And there's why, there's the steal from Fergus Dick. Opportunity knocks once again for the Cotswold team.
Back foot, stay, back foot.
12, offside.
Offside call against Matt Riddington.
It's an advantage, 12 offside.
Oxford are not going to stop until they're over that line.
Need to move the ball. They've got such an overlap.
Mike Hudson getting in great position to make the call, and he's called the try. And it's Vanker again. Try number 2 for Oxford's number 3. And now that scoreboard is looking a little bit more like you might have expected with the elements such as they are.
Yeah, exactly that. It's taking as much of the wind into your advantage. Just brilliant work again from the pack. It's been all the men up front so far in this game. The steed at the line out, putting combos under pressure, forcing the turnover, and then just going to work, being really smart, not overplaying, really quick picks around the ruck. And then that man Vanker again takes some stopping, but from less than a metre out, it's not going to happen.
And now that scoreboard has given Oxford some security. How does it affect Cambridge? We shall wait and see. But it's all been about the dark blues and the dark blue front row. We've got all 3 5-pointers, which have ultimately become 7-pointers thanks to the boot of Bridgewater.
Cambridge haven't really had much possession, have they? Every time they've had possession, they're either deep in their 22 or they're overplaying in this middle third.
Hold there, hold there.
I see them get on the ball and attack a little bit more.
They opened strongly, didn't they? And in the first 10 minutes, they were in the Oxford 22, but didn't come away with anything significant.
Off Cambridge. Okay. So knock on into touch. Knock on into touch by Oxford option.
Dark blue hand knocking it forward, so it's going to be a line-out call from Fergus Hughes.
Guys, get on your line and I'll give you numbers. Yeah.
Gone for a four-man option, so plenty of runners and options out in the back line.
Good reach by Catalina. There is the captain.
Okay, advantage.
And the little wrap into that left channel. Lovely little jab forward from Bland. Good covering. Wolfenmoor aware of the danger coming in.
Can you just go back, guys, to the halfway?
Now, what's the call here?
Semi-check.
Sounds like the AR came in.
Just wait a sec.
Nicky O'Donnell.
Okay.
Can be lower.
Yeah.
Ball carrier is dipping.
Okay.
We have direct head-on-head contact.
By 22 blue.
22
okay, we think yellow card then for the dip.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Head on
And
head
can you get a mark,
contact,
Vicky, for me, please?
or head contact. It's Jack Sander, I think.
22, please. Yeah, 22 here, please. Sick. Wait. Oh, wait.
Let's have a
It's
listen
clearly
here.
high tackle. Okay, we've got head contact. There's a dip, so that's why it's brought down to a yellow card. Okay, high tackle.
Oxford going to go down to 14 for the next 10.
Yeah.
As the replacement
Just there.
centre is going to sit out.
High tackle.
Great officiating, really clear with the communication there from Nicky O'Donnell into Mike Hudson.
It's going to force an adjustment for Oxford in that back line. And they will feel now that these
Guys,
next 4 minutes are a big 4 minutes.
Edge of the white line.
Absolutely, they want to capitalise on a one man down for Oxford. Can they get something before the end of this half? And then also knowing that they're going to come out in the second half, still have a player advantage as well as the wind in the background as well. It's a crucial 5 minutes for them.
They put Hartigan into the midfield. Tim Andrew sides through to open up the dark blue line. Big opportunity here for Cambridge. Looking for a score before half time. Ravenous forwards around the breakdown. Oxford forwards diligent thus far. Here they go again. Good defence from Dick, the blind side in dark blue, making sure that gate was securely bolted. Almost, but not quite again for Cambridge. They looked at the short side, and it's a simple fall over in the end for Matt Headington. A big score for Cambridge before the turnaround, and it's Uncle Riggers who's done the job, finishing off that pressure from the light blues.
Yeah, there's really good build-up and really good patience from Cambridge. Just the forwards going to work around the breakdown, which just pulls in all the Oxford forwards. They're all looking at the breakdown, all worried about the pick to the right, and no one scanning on the left-hand side there. And brilliant pass there from the 9, flat as you like.
Cheers,
to Ridgington to get over in the corner. Really, really important moment for them to get themselves right back into this.
And a very important couple of points available to the boot of Bland as well. Just clearing his runway to the ball.
You okay?
Bland unable to bring it round, but still a very important moment for James Shanahan and his light blue charges just before the break to get something on the board.
Let's go, yeah.
Just changes the match barometer slightly. Still 10 points in it, of course. But with the turnaround to give the win behind Cambridge backs, makes it a very interesting final 40. Still got a minute to go in this one. Bottomley sends it out safely and securely.
Front here. On your front, on your front.
Here's Thomas Mew, scored the only try a couple of years ago, earning his 3rd blue this afternoon. A man from Ripon Rugby Club up there in Yorkshire.
Let's go! Thank you, mate. Get it in, Hooker! Top, get it in!
Walker bats it back. Roddy comes round on the wrap. Muse looking for a feed into the attack. Last play of this first half. Good defensive work from the try scorer Riddington. In fact, I think that's Bottomley. It looks like he's hurt himself there in that contact, but play continues. Oh, the interception! Here's a big play! It's Bland for glory! Great defensive work from Wolfe Morn. A try-saving tackle if ever you've seen one. Still a big moment though for the Light Blues. No way through for Finn Edwards. Numbers are plenty out to the left with no Oxford defenders in front of them. The forwards, of course, heading for glory. Oxford now back in position, but the danger bells and the alarm bells still ringing. Ryan Santos drives. Oh, what a moment this could be. And I think there's going to be another yellow card here. Yes, indeed. It's the stand-in skipper, Jack Hamilton.
Yep.
Well, big moment still there before the final whistle of this half. And Cambridge made the most of it as well. Looks like Alex Christie. Well, what a turnaround we've seen in this last 10 minutes or so. To see as the forwards set it up once again.
15. Come across here, please. Thank you. Yeah.
Well, huge, huge score.
Yeah, so critical. You felt that Oxford had control. The siren had gone, and then the brilliant intercept play. Absolute quality work from Bland and Santos. Right there in support to score the ball, and then the forwards here. Brilliant work rate yet again, and that belief you feel is very much coming alive for Cambridge.
Bland makes it a big 2 points, and look at that scoreboard now at 21-6. It was Oxford's half that they dominated, but they've really been put under the cosh with those 2 tries in the last 6-7 minutes from Cambridge. And just 3 points between these two at the turnaround. This match very much in the balance at half-time. It's the Dark Blues leading, but only just 21-18. There was the intercept. Look at this tackle coming in from Wolf-O'Morn to bring Bland down.
There's quality defence to chase him down. You can see the legs were getting into treacle. But look at this work rate. Brilliant work. And then Christie, saw him warming up, was almost doing like gymnastics, so the ability for him to get so low and underneath.
Oxford, who've worked 2 tries from line-out driving mauls. Fanka has been the beneficiary. Really good, solid line-out drives. Nigh on impossible to stop when you've got a tight head who kicks that low to the ground.
Yeah, he's so powerful, isn't he? The first opening 20-25 minutes, Oxford had all the possession in the right areas of the field and were able to execute every time they got there, and you felt they had so much control in this game, and it all was from the forward pack and the dominance here in the driving maul, and the ability to get over and use that as a weapon.
There you can see the unity and the setup from Oxford's 1 to 8. That's the try from the hooker Roddy. And then another Fanka try, another line-out driving maul. And that at 21-6 looked to be, well, the first half sorted at least.
Yeah, very much so. It did feel like all control was coming from Oxford, pushing the scoreboard out of reach for Cambridge. But the comeback from Cambridge in that last 10 minutes, with those yellow cards being really critical factors to them being able to get back into this game.
And there was great awareness from Holdroyd to make sure his pass went straight out, and then the addition of their second try, and it really has got, oh, sorry, there's the Riddington one again.
I really feel that that first yellow card was such a shift in momentum for them. Just see that on the pick and goes, just bouncing out slightly, so the opposition can't get a dominant hit, can't get underneath. It's a quality finish.
Well, an intriguing first half. Let's hear what our Oxford trio have got to say about that with Bryn Lucas. Bryn?
Yeah, thanks so much, Simon, well, what a first half that was, wasn't it? It was all about, well, it was compact, wasn't it? It opened up a little bit as the game went on, but George, looking at that one, it comes down to discipline.
I'd say so. I mean, we spoke about key moments earlier on before the game, and I think as we've seen, Cambridge have been pretty well disciplined. I'd say Oxford have led the physicality, and they've been very aggressive in the defence, but they've kind of just veered over that kind of line a little bit, given away too many penalties. You'd have thought a few minutes before half-time, they've actually weathered it pretty well. But as we've now seen, 2 men in the bin, and the score, you know, the points they've left out on the pitch, it's going to be an interesting next 10-15 minutes.
Jack, at 21-6 Oxford, it looked plain sailing, as we're saying here, but it can turn very quickly, and that, you know, it was all Cambridge after that. But earlier on in the game, Cambridge had a lot of territory, and then it got a bit congested in the middle, and it got a bit bitty. The game wasn't able to get flowing.
Yeah, I mean, kind of backing up what George said, momentum is huge in these sort of games. I mean, it's every single year there is a momentum shift. 2 bins, Wiley going off, that's going to be a big loss, but at least they've got half-time now to kind of collect their heads. I know they've got some good coaches there who will kind of steer them the right way.
We'll talk about Luke Wiley in just a few moments, but Tom, looking it out here, what are your initial impressions? You have it's past the mic territory here, but what are your impressions about what you've seen? Where is it being won and lost outside of just discipline?
I'd say the discipline battle has been so influential in the game. Like we talked earlier on before the game around managing nerves. George, pre our game in 2008, he talked about managing nerves. And like, I think arousal levels for the Oxford team, like, it's through the roof, absolutely through the roof, and it's manifested in the brilliant collision. I think they've been very physical in defence, but probably also just hearing the wrong side of that discipline line and being a bit over-eager, offside a couple of times, a couple of silly decisions around the right that have given Cambridge the entries. And then we saw the massive swing in the last 5 minutes. Had it been a 35-minute half, Oxford are going in red-hot favourites in the second half. But 14 points, 2 yellow cards, Cambridge are in the driving seat now.
They certainly are. Let's go to Luke Wiley then, to the captain. It's so disappointing to see him down again, injured. 2023, dislocated his knee. It seems to be something linked to his knee again this time out. This is his 4th varsity, his final varsity. What does it mean to him? You know him pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, Luke is still one of my really good mates. I just spoke to him there. He said he's in good spirits now. He is fine. He did say, look, all I do care is about winning and being with these boys. I think he's a completely selfless person. All he cares about is that team. This game will mean a lot to him if they get the win. So I think all the boys will just play for him.
And it is an if now, isn't it? If they get the win. 21-18 is the half-time score, but it was 21-6 at one stage, and it was in full flow with Oxford. I mean, you were sitting next to the guys here, and you said at one point, it's flowing nicely now, boys. And you just said that with the actual way Oxford had the ball, they were controlling it so well. They were moving the ball really quickly at times, weren't they, as well? And it just seems to have ground to a halt because of discipline, George. And also because of what Cambridge are doing as well. It's not all just down to discipline with Oxford.
Absolutely, and I think what's going to be really critical now as they go out into the second half is how are they actually going to respond to not only what the opposition are doing, but how the ref is actually looking to influence this game. He's been quite hot on the breakdown, he's been quite hot on the discipline on the offside line. So now it's about reacting to that. If it's giving a little bit of extra space in defence, if it's not going in for everything, you've got 13 men right at the moment for a short period of time before everyone's back on. They're going to have to be smart about how they manage the game.
So, put your coach's hats on. You've got a coaching hat anyway, so let's keep your coach's hat on and tell us what's going on in there right now from an Oxford point of view.
Well, first of all, going down to 13 men, you've lost your 9, you lost your 13, all right? There's some massive tactical challenges in this second half. How are you defending backfield? All right, are you still having 2 at the back to protect the touch lines? Are you going to a 1-man because you've only got 5 in the backs? All right, front line, how your centre's one of your main organisers in the front line. How are you managing that situation? What are you doing around the breakdown? Oxford's double tackles were brilliant. 2 in tackle, two fighting for the ball as well. Can you afford to lose 2 into the breakdown, but with 13 players on the pitch? So I think first of all there's some tactical challenges that they need to get clarity on. What are we doing around the breakdown? How are we defending backfield? How are we organising ourselves? First of all, and then the second piece is probably an emotional piece. Again, it's like, let's find this balance where we're still winning the collision, but we're not giving away silly penalties to give Cambridge the entries that they've fed off. Okay, because let's be honest, all right, Cambridge haven't broken Oxford down, have they? they fed on errors from Oxford, all right? So I think those are the big talking points at half-time in the Oxford change room in particular, is these tactical problems, how are we dealing with them? Secondly, how are we getting the right side of this emotional arousal level? So we're disciplined, but we're still maintaining our collision.
When you played last year, it was a very, very tough match for a different reason. If you win a match because you played really well, that's great. If you lose the match because you've been outplayed, that's sort of all right. If you lose the match because of what you've done on the pitch, that's hard to stomach.
No, I know. It's a bonus if you're playing well and you get the win, but yeah, it's a tough pill to swallow if you actually go out there and play well, but don't get it because of silly mistakes, silly pens. But yeah, just to kind of touch on the Cambridge changing room, I mean, they'll probably look to come out and actually utilise these two bins. You'll probably see them going to a scrum, putting one guy in the back line there. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what both sides do tactically. But yeah.
And I think on that, right, I think if you're Cambridge now, you're coming out, you've got a sniff of blood. This is the time you've really got to put your foot on the throat. You've got to twist the knife, and they've got a real opportunity to open this up. And I think what is fantastic about today so far that we've seen is there's a real game on our hands here, and it's going to be absolutely fascinating to see how it plays out in the second half.
Has it been going the way you thought it might? Let's leave discipline to one side. Has the game plan gone the way you thought it might from both sides of the coin?
So I think to start off with, Kenchi, who's coach of Oxford, challenges him pre-match. He's saying we're going to play the ball around a bit. That's probably what we were alluding to just before half-time before the penalty. But one thing he did said, we're going to get off the line and smash him in D. And to be fair to him, they've absolutely done that to start off with. So he'll know, he's very experienced, he's played in this game, he's got a lot of experience coaching in this environment, and so he realises there is that kind of adrenaline dump and physicality. It's just, can they keep it together? Like we said about the discipline side of things, can they keep that together? And then are they going to be able to weather this sort of 10, 15, 20-minute storm, the other side of half-time?
I think, well, the cliche is you've got to kind of earn the right to go wide, and I think I'm really impressed with Mike Fanker. I think he's putting a serious shift in that first half, and with Wiley out, I think people are going to be looking to him to lead, be kind of the new talisman for the team. And I mean, I'd follow him. He's a big unit. You saw how destructive he was over the try line. But yeah,
it's one thing having a game plan coming out in this second half. I mean, we know that Oxford are going to have to be compact, they're going to have to be tight. They're going to have to be. It's going to have to be gritty and probably not very pretty for the first 10-15 minutes or so. But what's that going to do to the energy levels of the Oxford players? They've got to take 10-15 minutes of 13 against 15. Cambridge have got to make use of this and batter them for 15 minutes. They exhaust them, surely.
Yeah, definitely, and the energy demand of this next 10 minutes, if Oxford can stay in it, might play out later on in the game. It might not be this from 40 to 50 where we see Cambridge, exploit the two-man advantage. It might be later on in the game when the energy levels of Oxford are really drained. All right, but no doubt Cambridge are talking about how they can exploit the two-man advantage in this 10 minutes, how they can exploit wide space potentially, like how Oxford's plan to deal with the two backs down is going to be really interesting. But yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see how this first 10 minutes materialises. And
what they can do from the bench as well, because the bench is going to come into play a fair bit.
Yeah, I think, again, one of my really good mates at Oxford, Zendon Rosenbrook, he's an absolute machine. He's a hard hole nutter, so he'll come on, he'll look to smash some guys, and yeah, it'll be good to watch, entertaining for sure.
Well, I'd love to get a final word from you at the moment, George, but unfortunately we don't. We've got to go straight up to our commentators because our players are standing by. So back up to Simon and to Rachel.
Thank you, guys. Yes, interesting words from our admittedly dark blue contingent on the mic down there, but that emotional arousal level that Don Waldock was mentioning is going to be huge, you would think, in the first 10-12 minutes. I know we've got 40 minutes ahead of us, but it feels like this game could swing either way in the next 10-12 minutes, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the boys spoke about it, isn't it? It's about having that right balance. You want to be physical, you want to be confrontational, but you've got to make sure that you're on the right side of the referee, because in that second half, towards the tail end, it was the compounding errors, the lack of discipline that gifted Cambridge those opportunities that they could then play off. They were feeding off the errors from Oxford. So, yeah, the first opening 10 minutes, Oxford needing to manage this first opening 10 minutes where they're going to be down to 13 players. But also, Cambridge are going to want to come out. They're going to use this win, use those corners to then try and keep that pressure on.
And the flip side is that Cambridge can't go gung-ho. They can't throw everything ad hoc at the dark blue line. They've got to be quite measured and composed.
Absolutely, and that's one of the biggest challenges, isn't it? You know you've got a two-player overlap, so then you start forcing things, you start doing Hail Marys, missed passes when they're not needed. So it's, yeah, they've got to stay composed, they've got to be realistic to what they're playing in front of them, be direct, create an opportunity, and then try and execute it.
Well, here we go. 3 points the difference between the two sides. A two-man difference for the next 10, 12 minutes, whatever it might be. And a big opportunity for the light blues to maybe get their noses in front. I can see a change on at half-time. Tom Petty is into the Cambridge front row.
Play on.
Bland having his kick charge down and Holdroyd having to scuttle back. And it's going to be a dropout. Just looking to see, yes, I think it's Danny Collins who's been replaced, finishing his 5th blue. I know Tom Petty was very close to selection in the starting 15, so no great surprise to see him in early on in this second half. Morn stumbling into the contact. Looks like Bridgewater has stepped up to be scrum half, and presumably Fanker has stepped up to captain the side in the absence of the two nominated captains thus far.
Yes, boy! Well done! Well done! No.
But there's an early error, isn't it, from Oxford? You'd expect them to be playing quite tight and direct with 2 players down.
Holding.
There are just not enough players to the support to get over the ball to secure it.
Go, sorry.
It's a good rally from Nathan Bottomley.
Yeah, 4. Oxford 4.
Yeah, just Fanker there, just gets caught, isolated on his own. I think it might be Newland that just slips off the clear out.
Now, an early call from Ian Kench, because he's taking off Tom Toes, who looks a little bit bewildered, it has to be said. Bring on 19, Zenden Rosenbrook. Jack Glover was mentioning just now. Very early call in this second half, just 2 minutes after the break.
Thank you. Let's go. Yeah, let's go.
Gompels. Hits Aidan Beaumont. Put on over 8 kilos over Christmas, apparently, to bulk up. Again, that's what we were talking about, just Cambridge just getting a little over-enthused and coming out of the structure that they were hoping. That time it was Makoto Toza.
Just keep them calm, please.
Just got ahead of the game.
It just looked like they overcomplicated that set-piece play off the back of the line out. Yeah, it's really important how Oxford manage this next 10 minutes before they get back to their full 15. Playing that territory game, not rushing anything. You see they're taking their time to get set.
Let's come in, Oxford, let's go!
Yeah, trying to work the match clock. Mike Hudson having none of it. Roddy scored that second try in the first half, and that goes skew, and his opposite number picks up, and here is an opportunity for Cambridge. They'll come back for the early call, but Matt Reddington will know if he picked that up clean. He had 2 men outside him.
Line out option. It's clearly not straight. No,
just saw him take his eye off the ball ever so slightly to scan what might be in front of him.
No, let me know. Edge of that white line, please. Edge of the line here.
They've gone for a back ball, which is one of the challenging throws to be able to make.
Yeah, stay. Yeah, they're good.
Gone pull straight onto it, but still opportunity here now for Cambridge.
This time it's Cantalina who provides the ball. Reddington gets it back to his fly half. Tim Andrew comes round as the extra man. The cut back from Ryan Santos. Cantalina sets it back once again. Cambridge approaching the Oxford 22. Reddington just putting the man out of position. Bland puts a little kick through. Good work from Ben Hartigan. Covering to pick up the scraps, the pieces inside the 22. And Oxford now just trying to drive their way away from danger. Ben Scher gets a safe boot through the ball. And once again, Oxford can breathe.
Yeah, still not quite out of the danger zone, but good to see attacking prowess from Cambridge. Little balls out the back, trying to pull the defenders in. One whip to the other. Ryan Santos making a nice line break. And then coming back through the other side of the pitch. But it was great work from Hartigan to get back to be able to cover that kick.
So Oxford are back to 14.
Just waiting for your contact lens again.
Contact lens issue apparently for Tim Andrew. Just saw Mark Atkinson, who's prowling around with the Waterboy vest on, just pushing his man out in front of the fourth official to make sure he got back as quickly as possible.
All good.
Tim Andrew, not with the bleached hair this year.
Time on.
No varsity try either. So he will be keen to try and change that before the end of this game.
Oxford have. Hold it. Go, go, go.
Take him back. Throwing it wide, putting the width on it. Daniel Stokes. The release is there. Moore takes his team up to the Cambridge 10-metre line. Chair puts in a big diagonal. Bottom is there though. Gets outside his man. He's got 2 forwards, 3 forwards in front of him. Does very well. Gompels the conduit as Finn Edwards comes up. Edwards, a former back rower, only converted the front rower last season. And that little no-look pass, and it's still Cambridge now trying to work that right flank. Again, Santos trying to keep the ball alive, does very well there.
Still advantage, high tackle.
Once again, Cambridge in the opposition 22. Once again, unable to make anything of it, although they will get the penalty call over on that right corner.
11 Oxford high tackle.
Just a couple of minutes left on that final yellow card.
It's gone dead.
And there is a kick that's gone wrong. Bottomley apologises to his teammates because that might be manna from heaven for the Oxford side.
That's a big opportunity gone for them there. That would have been an opportunity for them to be able to strike and try and take the lead just before the final player comes back on for Oxford. But it was great to get a glimpse of the centres. Stokes and Muse linking up together really well on that outside channel. Brilliant line break. And it's in a lot of attack from Oxford.
That's a great restart from Bridgewater. Forcing Cambridge back in, forcing them to kick. And great game management from the Oxford side.
Next job. End of that white. End of the white line, Fergus.
Canadian fly-half just settling his team down. It's experienced heads now that the Dark Blues need. Just for the next minute or so until they're back to their full quota. Walker's been a regular target at the front of that line out. Fresher came off the bench last year, starting in the 8 jersey this.
Still advantage throwing the cross at the line out.
It's Hartigan again. Another Fresher, great wrestler apparently.
Tackle now, off. Leave, work, away.
Oh, lovely little pop past them all. Great work from Sher. And now Oxford really running the angles off the ball carrier.
Good turn over there, but we're going to come back. White forward, jumping across.
Stokes got really good acceleration about him, hasn't he? Just coming to the line there, burst through.
4, jumping across. Jump across.
There's just compounding errors from Cambridge here, missing the touch, then giving away a penalty at the line out.
Jack Hamilton, captain-elect for the Dark Blues, trots back onto the pitch. And
Yes,
Oxford will feel a small victory over the last 15, 16 minutes or so.
18.
On the flip side, Cambridge will feel they've not made the most of playing against 13 men.
Come on, you know, 6.
Just get on the front man. If they delay, I'll
Potentially the half-time probably came at the wrong time for Cambridge, didn't it? Because the momentum swung in their favour. And that break has just allowed Oxford to manage that last 15 minutes, get themselves back to full 15 men on the field.
Great take from Fergus Dick, but not straight. Referee Mike Hudson in great position.
Clearly not straight, guys.
Yeah, the guys at half-time were talking about the discipline, particularly of the Dark Blues, and we've seen great discipline in the 10 minutes since half-time to make sure they didn't let Cambridge in, and they were just able to manage the game until they got back to 15. There's a steal from Rosenbrook. Good to see him back after that double hip injury. 7 last season, but making an impact off the bench this season. There's Michael Fanker, who's been making an impact from the word go. Step inside from Sander.
Play on. No, he's trying
Fergus
to
Dick
play on.
desperately trying to wrestle his way over the gain line. There's Rosenbrook again. Oxford spreading well to the left hand. Fanker is stripped and looks like he's taken a knock there, has he? No, thankfully. I'm not sure.
Just a knock-on advantage.
There was a brief stoppage. Now Fanker's back to his feet. It's good to see.
Stay behind.
Muldroyd bides his time to get the box kick away. Good anticipation from Muse, with a little help from his friends. Oxford can go again, just outside the 22 now. Sher, Sander, Walker. Walker's got some pace if he can find some space. Step in from Daniel Stokes, alumni of King's School, Grantham.
Play on. Leave. Play on.
Walker again, going to look down that short side.
No.
Good defence from the light blues, but still. Sher with the outrageous dummy. Wolfenmore trying to find a way through the heavy traffic. Ollie Kirk.
Advantage.
One of several ex-members of Durham University. Sher with the drop goal. Charge down, they'll go back for that call.
That's such a shame, because Cambridge were really well organised there. All players on their feet, really well connected, going up. That's what was forcing Oxford to play back inside. The outrageous dummy, because on the outside there's a full line of light blue and white stripes coming up all together. Then the basic error of not rolling away. You've got to be really active. The referee's been hot around the breakdown all game so far, so You've got to react to what the referee's saying.
Cool.
Yeah, you could see the defensive work of Heath Stevens, the Cambridge University defence coach, coming to fruition there.
All good?
Everybody fit and able to return. And it's going to be Henry Bridgewater to try and put his team back into attacking territory. Well, we saw 2 tries from line-out balls, about 3 when Roddy and Vanka twice were on the end of it to finish things off.
Cambridge, line.
Is it going to be another opportunity here? Big moment in this game. Quarter of an hour into the second half. Again, it's Walker thrown to the heavens. Vanka comes round on the short side. Rosenbrook. Hamilton keeping things moving, and then in on the burst comes Will Roddy. Try number 2 for Oxford's number 2. And a big score for those in dark blue.
Brilliant work yet again from the pack. The variation on the set piece goes for a front peel with Vanka drawing in the players, but just watch the speed around the corner here from Roddy. Just comes at absolute speed and power just from around the back of the breakdown, so nobody's one-on-one marking him. Just comes so late, but at speed and at pace.
Cheers.
And what a quality try.
All good, guys, behind the posts.
Just what they needed.
I keep mentioning the work of USA Eagle Nick Civetta, Ian Kench as well, of course, a former second rower himself. And again, it bears fruit again. There's points on the board thanks to a line-out driving maul. Bridgewater puts it through for another 2, and that advantage is back to 10 points. Cambridge replacements brings on Dan Hyde at scrum half.
You got everyone you need, yeah?
Harry Jones into the second row.
Yeah, on you. When you're ready, yeah?
So James Shanahan deciding to mix things up before we get to the final quarter of this game.
10. Format.
So new halfbacks for the light blues. Jack Allenson into that pivotal berth with Dan Hyde now his feed.
Hold there, hold. Stay. Use it.
Looking to try and change things up now.
Ball backwards, play on.
Hamilton can't quite find the angle.
Yeah. Take the edge here. Edge of this white line, please. Edge of the white line. 3. Edge.
Be interesting what they do here. Obviously, last line out went for a 4-man, and Ferguson Dick managed to get up and steal, but so they've changed their tactics here. Can they create a bit more confusion for the Oxford Blues so they can't read where they're going to go?
The long ball to Makoto Tosa into the midfield with Riddington. Round on the wrap, here comes Tim Andrew. Jet heels of Tim Andrew. Taking the light blues deep into the Oxford 22. Quick ball is the call.
2 up. Advantage, 2 not releasing.
Gompels is standing out wide on this left flank if anybody can see him, with no Oxford man around him. The forwards trying to dent the dark blue defence. A pass that was meant to go and people standing in the way, communication maybe Just breaking down a little there.
Not releasing or not rolling.
Could go quicker if they're smart.
So, 10 metres out.
What about Tim Andrews? Haven't seen him open up that often this afternoon, but we know that he's got pace, and just great to see him get on that outside arc and back himself. Gets his team 5 metres out from the try line.
Yeah,
Take the 5 here.
remember, at 17, he ran the 100 in 11 seconds.
You get him.
I'd struggle to run it in 11 minutes.
Let's go, Cambridge. Numbers.
He's given the opportunity. Who can do damage? No question about that.
5.
Big question now for Cambridge is, can they provide him the ball? Another big opportunity for the light blues.
That's once, 9, that's once.
Pomples comes around to take charge of them all.
3 through the middle, use it.
Santos. Ball's dropped. Moment's gone. And again, Cambridge get into the Oxford 22, but don't come away with points.
Let's go, Scrum. 3.
Ryan Santos is a big man.
Time off.
Vanilla from Manila has done some damage in the 15s and 7s game. The USA 7s with your old man, Mike Friday.
He saw his blood as well. No, this one.
You just don't get the feeling that Cambridge have been able to work position for him enough. His dad, of course, played rugby at Oxford back in, I think it was 91, a long time ago. So there's a lot of family element to Santos playing this afternoon. He also went on to play for Harlequins, did his dad, Rick, back in the mid-90s. Santos has come to Cambridge via Harvard, as you do. Post-grad joining the USA Sevens program with Mr. Friday. A couple of caps there, trial for the Olympics, which didn't get him a ticket to Paris, but he's hoping that Los Angeles Olympics will be a new target for him.
Okay, let's go. Sign back up. On me, guys.
Guys, let's cut the chat and play rugby, please.
Come on.
Good luck. Mike Hudson just said, let's cut the chat. Yeah, of course, sir.
Go in one ear and out the other.
What with that front row? No, you can't say that with this, can you? Club game, we could say it, but not in a varsity match. Look at that for an arm wrestle of a scrum. Oxford get the call.
Push straight. Not straight.
I thought that was tough. It felt that not quite sure where the ball was, whether it was at the 8 feet. That referee could have said use it. Cambridge held their own in that scrum. But this allows Oxford now just to breathe a little bit.
That is a huge effort from the Oxford 8. You could see how much Finn Edwards had got himself turned out of position there. A tight head for the light blues.
Perfect. Meter off, not 2.
Good take again from Fergus Dick. Already played for Bristol Bears against the Queensland Reds this season, so very much on the rugby radar. Wolfram on. Take a seat, sir. Great work from Ryan Santos.
2. Side entry, out of control.
Well, you talked about him being a USA Sevens player, and that's all about individual one-on-one tackling in space. It's got to be your bread and butter, and he absolutely delivered there for his team.
After 2 again. Jack, look after your 2. Look after your 2.
Initially, it was a great spot, wasn't it? Picked off down the short side.
Hang on, are you okay?
Ryan Santos just holds his ground, stays nice and square. And then the illegal clear out there from Roddy.
Bridlington straightens things up in the Cambridge midfield.
Leave it, 2.
Those small wins making a lot of difference right now, particularly in Oxford heads. No doubt detrimentally in their oppositions. Good work from Luke Newland, former Cardiff Blues age group player. That's
Cambridge, stop!
very good work. I think that was, it was Dan Hyde keeping the ball
Oxford,
in
stop.
play.
Come out of the 10.
Ben Scher sends it
Outside.
back.
Cambridge, stop here.
Game of kick tennis ensues. Bridgewater.
In their own half. 50-22's on.
Luke John leading medicine at Emmanuel College. Little break, Tim Andrew has Tosa inside him. Tosa pulled down just short of the Oxford 22. Hyde and Allenson getting it quicker through midfield. Out it goes. Oh, good tap tackle there. Again, that was Fergus Dick. Cambridge though still in possession. Oh, Walker just getting a bit greedy.
That's a knock on, we're going to come back.
How critical was that tap tackle?
But you've gone back after ruck's formed.
But great work initially down this short side.
Ruck formed.
That man again, Tim Andrew, right at the heart of it. And Tosa did so well to stay on his feet. He was a little bit isolated, waiting for his support. And the recycling to the outside.
One player each down. Replacement?
Yeah,
James,
it
that player for
feels
Cambridge is
like
gonna be
every time
replaced.
Cambridge get the wind in their sails, Oxford have found a way to make a hole in those sails, if you forgive the analogy, but you know what I mean. There's a way of stopping it, there's a way of just slowing it down. It looks like, sorry, Finn Edwards there.
Just
coming off.
Replacement.
Tight head.
Okay.
A former child actor, I'm told, got down to the last 3 to play Elton John in Rocket Man. Who'd have thought, eh? Doesn't look like Elton John now, does he?
Does that mean he can sing?
I don't know. I'm not sure how much the young Elton John sang, but he's done a fairly heavy stint in this varsity, that's for sure.
Okay, catching them all here, Parky.
Yeah, just see there from Walker, his hands go to the floor first before getting on the ball, so that means you're not supporting your body weight.
Stay there, stay.
Again, Cambridge cede possession inside the Oxford 22 and allow the Dark Blues
Keep going, keep
to
going.
implement an exit strategy. Santos takes cleanly, play continues. Bland throws big and large to Luke John. Luke John onto Tim Andrew. Andrew gets outside, that's good defensive cover from Bridgewater. Play continues, Muse. It's nip and tap backwards and forwards, isn't it?
Yeah, it's hugely exciting and desperate measures from both teams coming in there. Tim Andrew done so well to try and keep the ball in, but manages to find an Oxford player instead. Yeah, you just feel that the emotions have all heightened in the last 5 minutes.
No.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, really good recognition of space, massive overlap and opportunity. That little in and away. And then Bridgewater just does enough to force Andrews to pass that ball back in.
Cantalina in the middle of the lineup, calling the shots. And it is to the line-out captain as Gompels comes round to secure and set up the maul.
Advantage, collapsing.
Yeah, the inevitable almost collapse brings the referee's arm out for a straight penalty. John, almost but not quite.
It's an advantage.
A huge miss pass, and it is Santos. There's a high tackle there as well, which may well see another Oxford man in the sin bin. But critically for Cambridge, they have got another try on the board. And this game, with 13 minutes left, is very far from over.
But as soon as the penalty advantage came, it's an opportunity to play, to try something. Little play flat at the line there. And you saw Stokes there get sucked in, and then just the big ball over the top to Santos.
Up the scrum.
And I'm surprised they're not having a look at that. That is a dangerous tackle in the act of scoring.
Yeah, Henry Bridgewater going very high on the right winger there. Lionel Spooner, the television match official, not bringing it up with the referee. So George Bland looking to pull things back within 3. 4 from 5 so far for the Cambridge number 15. Make that 5 from 6 and make this a 3-point game. Well, who's your pocket money on? This is so difficult to call right now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and we talked about both kickers being good this afternoon, so how they manage this last period of play and their discipline, because you'll start to see players looking at the post to take those 3 if they give away clear and obvious penalties in front of the sticks.
Fly half to the other fly half.
Keep coming, keep coming.
Hangs it high, and Hyde is in position. Feeds out to George Bland, keeps it low. Morn has time to collect and weigh up, assess the opportunities. Can't get up to halfway, but the ball's still in possession of his team. Zengen Rosenbrook, the biochemist from St Hilda's College.
He's not affected any clear out. Breathe now. You got it?
Right, Fergus Hughes, I just heard, go 3 now, and he's walked forward George Bland. Oh, he's changed his mind, he's going corner. That'd be along, what would that be, 50 metres on the angle?
Yeah, it's a pretty hard kick, isn't it? I think, you know, if it's still got 10 minutes of play here, but this is what I talked about just moments ago. It's like the discipline in these last closing 10 minutes is going to be so critical on both teams.
On the white line. Edge of the white, guys.
Yeah, they're trying to say that 18 there is interfering with the clear out, but clearly rolled out to the side.
Cambridge, let's go. Let's go.
Big moments, and notice Walker gets his mitt in there. That is a huge steal from the Oxford number 8. Once again, the Cambridge line out, unable to produce secure ball. But Oxford still under the cost, giving away the penalty.
Emerging out of the rock and he dived on it, same as theirs in the first half.
Well, changes afoot for the Oxford pack. Looking down in front of us, I can see the Pratt boys, 18 and 20, is going to bring Harry and James on into the mix. Of course, this time last year, James was on the Cambridge bench.
Fergus.
Is he going to be victorious once again? Younger brother Harry wearing 18. He'll go into the front row.
3. Oxford 3, please.
For
Oxford 3
Michael Fanker. Fanker has put in a heavy shift. Really impressive performance once again from the young tight head.
Yeah, he's been key for them this afternoon, obviously scoring 2 tries, but a lot of the hard work, hard carries throughout the game. It's a great take from Walker.
Yeah. 9, that's once.
He really has been so prominent
Outside.
inside the, well, both lineouts. Good anticipation from Muse, making sure that Andrew couldn't get himself going, but the penalty is given away.
As an absolute hospital pass there to Andrews. Certainly felt that in his ribs. Yeah.
Moved.
I mean, it's a great read, great tackle. It's just what came after that.
Tim Andrew feeling it by the looks of that.
There's definitely a few grimaces on his face.
Just going to mention something I've been asked to mention for the My Name's Doddy Foundation and the Alzheimer's Society.
5 blue, please. Yeah, it's you.
A lot of interest in various commentary sheets, mine included, so they'll be up for sale for sports commentators from sportscommentators.com in memory of my good friend Nigel Starmer-Smith in particular. So if you're interested, have a look online and you can get your own copy of what's gone on, and if you can interpret my handwriting, please let me know. James Pratt is now on into the Oxford pack.
2 knock-ons.
James Pratt still good friends with Fergus Hughes from their Cambridge days. So the banter will be interesting, to say the least, at line-out and scrum engagements.
Yeah, time's off.
It seems both teams are really on the edge at the moment.
Scrum, Oxford.
Just mention of our sponsor as well while we have this break.
Yeah,
Proud to welcome RM Williams to the Cambridge community with their new store at 7 to 8 Rose Crescent, and want to thank them for showing up for our local teams and of course supporting these varsity matches, an event that shaped rugby history for over a century. They've got stores here in London too. You can check them out in Soho and on New Bond Street. So big thanks to RM Williams for being associated with these varsity matches.
Fergus, on those dummy runners, on the dummy runners in the back line, please make sure that they're in a position to take the pass. Yeah. Right, if the instructor interfere.
So many of these players have got big weeks ahead of them. Danny Collins, the Cambridge tight head, has got medical exams in 3 days. Let's hope he can hold the pen or tackle. I'm not quite sure how he does his written work, but one of many who've got big exams coming up through the end of this term into Trinity term.
Let's come up.
7.5 minutes left. Just 3 points between these two sides.
Okay, stay square. Everyone stay square.
Sam Lyon there with the ball, formerly of Battersea Ironsides, famous South London club.
Bang!
I think I remember Carl Sinclair going there back in the day.
Up you come. Okay, guys, both sides. Let's keep, guys, both. Can you let me speak? Yeah, sorry. Right, that's enough. Let's keep the gap, please, so we can all get into the head spaces, please. Let's go. Awesome. One shot.
Here we go. Let's go. Let's go.
Ben Gompel's still on after 73 minutes. What a shift and time he's put in, not only this match, of course, but in previous games. He finishes his PhD in anthropology at Darwin College. One of the 15 colleges, 15 of 31 colleges, isn't it, in Cambridge, that are represented in this game. 18 of the 39 Oxford colleges on the other side will be watching with intent. Sher sets it up. Anybody going to be able to catch it? Yeah, great work. Alex Christie provides the possession. Tim Andrew. Oh no, Tim Andrew's on this side. What am I looking at there? He's been everywhere through the course of this game. Santos finds a little way through on the right-hand side.
Hold that.
Cambridge stretching out. Charles Cantalina goes away as the Oxford defender disappears past him. Bland throws it wide, and now it's Tim Andrew. Here we go. Good defensive cover, but the ball's offloaded. Fergus Hughes keeps it alive. Luke John, Cambridge hunting out what could be the winning try. So many twists and turns in this contest. You can never be sure until that final whistle, that's for sure. Cambridge banging at the Oxford door now.
Stay there. Line up.
Forwards have got to keep their composure.
Back, line.
Luke John's got nobody in front of him.
But nobody's got their heads up right now. Almost. Cambridge ball carrier, turn turtle. Now they have Luke John. Luke John celebrates being the blue with a try. And what a big moment that is for the man from Emmanuel College. Well, Cambridge have not been in the lead since the 8th minute of this contest. They've chosen the 75th minute to regain their place on the throne. Isn't going to be enough though.
Well, here's the image of the try. Simple ball to the outside channel where John is completely unmarked. But again, it started with Andrews down this left-hand side. Quality offload to Hughes with a great covering tackle coming in from Hamilton, but not enough to be able to stop this light blues pushing on.
Yeah, let's go.
What a turn this game has had.
George Bland just taking his time. The crowd here tells you everything you want to know as the White Blues establish a 4-point buffer with 4 minutes in. Oxford bench being emptied to bring Captain America Mike O'Donnell in, John Belcher-Heath, Joe Day coming on for the Light Blues as well, and it looks like Ben Shaw is going to come in.
How critical is this restart now for Cambridge? Just want to secure possession, kick the ball as far downfield as you can to keep Oxford out of their own half.
Ron Club from Bridgewater.
That's really tough, isn't it? Because you know exactly what he's trying to do there. He's trying to get the ball back for his team, knows how critical possession's going to be in these final moments. Just overcooks it.
What a moment for Luke John. I'm just going to take a personal moment, if you'll excuse me, because my dad went to Emmanuel College and he always gets the Emma mention. He passed away a couple of weeks ago, so Dad, the college is still doing it for you. Whether the Light Blues are going to be able to hold on, well, who knows? We shall wait and see. Ryan Santos just walking in front of us. And Cambridge in no rush for this right now.
Okay, let's go again.
Santos has been good for them, hasn't he? Really solid down that right-hand wing. May not have been getting the line breaks, but often taking 2 or 3 defenders out of the game. And then that's what's been opening up for Andrew on the opposite side. been a good addition.
Contrasting wingers, aren't they? Tim Andrews, that little buzz of a winger with so much acceleration. And on the other side, Ryan Santos has got the speed, but has got the physicality as well.
Yeah, he's got that bump and power.
Suddenly, the match barometer has swung the other way, big time. 90 seconds about to tick through on the clock. And Jack Allenson, who grew up in Oxford, his dad, I think his dad still coaches the Oxford third team. So very much mixed loyalties within the Allenson family. But right now, the RGS High Wycombe alumni is doing it, and there is the call that must seal it.
Got to take the free here.
Is that the 90 seconds we have? Yes, the toast. No, 60.
Fergus, who's just checking with the referee how long he's got. Fergus Hughes, what a captain he's been. Fractured his wrist in pre-season and has played pretty much the whole season with strapping. And what a character as well. I had the pleasure of having coffee with him.
Just on the 5 there.
A few weeks back now, telling me all about his New Zealand upbringing. Played with the Tasman Macos and Crusaders age groups, amongst other things. Very balanced individual, good cricketer as well, I'm told, so we'll be looking for more blues. But right now, it's George Bland, which surely is going to finish off this game. Get in the hole is the call, and that's it! Cambridge have done it! Oxford are shell-shocked. The Light Blues have come back from a 21-6 deficit. 28-18 it was at one point midway through the second half. And now the Light Blues have made history 3 in a row, the first time since 2007. Absolute elation in the light blue camp, desolation in the dark blue camp. What a contest we have seen. Quality varsity rugby that's finished up. Oxford University 28, Cambridge University 35. Well, Rachel Burford, we've been lucky enough to see some terrific games over the years, you and me, watching the Oxbridge contest, but that, to my mind, is one of the best.
Yeah, and I think you've got to reflect on the actual game itself for that, and the resilience that Cambridge has showed today to stay in that fight throughout the game, even when they were 20 points down, to be able to come back in that fashion, in that style, on the 75th minute to steal the win is absolutely remarkable. And for Oxford, they had so many brilliant moments throughout that game. Really fast start, but the discipline, the 2 yellow cards really affected all of the momentum. You can't take away from what Cambridge fought back, never gave up, believed in themselves, were patient. They had many of opportunities that Oxford then denied them on a number of occasions, but they never stopped knocking at the door, and they've got their deserves.
It has been a compelling 80 minutes of rugby. Here is the first try when the Oxford forwards showed how well they'd been drilled in their line-out manoeuvres. Fanker finishing off that maul. And indeed it was the dark blue front row who were the recipients of the efforts of their forward teammates, and of course that fly off there as well, Ben Sher putting his shoulder to it. Roddy getting the second try, and then Fanker coming in to get a very similar looking third try to put them in to that 21-6 advantage coming towards the end of the first half. But critically, it was the last 5-7 minutes or so of that first half that made such a difference to the mindset, with Oxford, as you mentioned, Rach, with 2 yellow cards, and Cambridge coming through with 2 tries.
Yeah, it was an absolute shift in momentum, wasn't it? The first yellow card, and then followed very shortly after that the second yellow card, 2 tries from it. That brilliant intercept as well, just before the half-time. In fact, they were already in the red, but kept playing. Then just sent them into the sheds with plenty of confidence and plenty of belief that they can take on Oxford. And then it all come rumbling back to Oxford, found their form again. Brilliant work from their forward pack, like we saw in the first half. And Roddy here, out of nowhere, burst of injection of pace to get back over and get back that lead.
And at that point, I thought Oxford have done it, because they managed those 10-12 minutes at the beginning of the second half and made sure that Cambridge didn't score while they were down to 13. Got that try, but then this score from the Filipino, the Vanilla from Manila, Ryan Santos, suddenly made things possible. And you were like, okay, 28-25, and it was all in the mix. It was roll your dice, see what you come up with.
Yeah, there was definitely a period, wasn't there, where the ball was going back between the 2 teams. But this one was a really important and the critical score to get the lead. Such good work from the centre, John.
Well, what a contest it was between the dark blues and the light blues. Let's hear from the dark blues camp. I think Bryn Lucas is talking to their standing captain, Jack Hamilton.
That is correct, Simon. I got you here. First of all, it's great to chat to you, but it was a bitter pill for you to have to lose your captain so early on.
Yeah, I mean, right from the beginning of pre-season, Luke has been absolutely fearless for us, and he was extremely determined to do a job, and he did an absolutely amazing job with the group. I couldn't have asked for a better captain all year. Yeah, it's tough to lose him early, and I think we tried to use that as motivation to bring the boys together and do him proud. Obviously, we fell short, but altogether, I think we'll still be very proud of the season.
It must be tough for you guys, because at around 37, 38 minutes, something like that, it was still looking pretty good for Oxford, and then kind of the wheels fell off and you had to maintain what you had for the first 10, 15 minutes of that second half.
Yeah, look, I mean, 38, 40 minutes is a long time in a game of footy. 2 minutes is a long time in a game of footy. I think we did really well to put ourselves in a position to win, but it's big games, they come down to the wire. It really is a game of inches, and yeah, just fell short.
Go and join your team, and we'll catch up a little bit later on, I'm sure, but well done there. Thanks so much there, Jack. And let's bring in the winning captain, and with his fractured wrist that's got to go and get operated on pretty soon. But Fergus, that was a tough fight, one you had to make to the very, very end, but what a battle.
Yeah, I think so. I'd firstly just like to say I hope Luke Wiley's all right. He's such an awesome competitor. I've had 3 years against him, and he's really suffered with injuries, but he's an absolute fighter, and he's an absolute dog on the field. So I just want to wish him well to begin with. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, I can't really put it into words, but we said at half-time we're a gutsy team. We might not have superstars, we might not be the most talented team in the world, but we're gutsy. We've come from behind 4 times this season in the last 10 minutes, and we really believe in ourselves. There's not a man in that group who didn't believe we were going to do that in the last 10 minutes, and I back absolutely everyone, and they back me, and that's the secret to the success of this team.
I'd like to ask you loads more questions, but it's time to go and get the presentation of the trophy, so off you go. Well done to you there, the winning captain, Fergus. Good stuff. Off he goes with the rest of his team.
Yes, what a character, what a personality Fergus uses as he steps forward to receive the trophy. Just listen to this. For the 67th time, it's Cambridge who have the trophy. 3 in a row now for James Shanahan's outfit, and what a contest it's been for him as well. His 6th win in 11 varsities for Coach Shanahan. Commiserations in the dark blue camp. They must have thought at 21-6, at 28-18, even in the middle of that second half, they must have thought they had this game. They just had to manage it. But it wasn't to be, and huge credit to the resilience of the light blues. And as Fergus Hughes said it was never in doubt because they backed each other, they backed him, and so it came to pass. Let's get down to see who is going to be the winner of the Player of the Match, the Alistair Hignell medal, once again with Bryn.
Yeah, thanks so much, Simon. I'm with the winner of the award. Unfortunately, not the winner for the match, though, is Will Roddy. Great to have you along. Great performance. You have won this. Let's find out why, though, George. Why was you selecting Will for this?
I think had a great game and you know, strong carries, couple of tries, a fantastic performance, and obviously not coming out on the winning side on this occasion, but you know, very well done. You are our man of the match. So
congratulations. Now, quick thoughts from you, not the result you wanted, but talk us through the performance.
Sorry, I've got a lot of things going through my head. It's a really weird season format that you come into fresh from school, where you're playing a league at club or academy leagues or whatever, where you've got one game to build towards with your squad, and it's a really, the emotion for that builds in a way that I can't really express, and I find it really difficult to sort of put into words. But what I get from it is that regardless of result, I'd do it all over again with the boys that have been in the squad and the boys that we've played this with. Yeah, just because the result didn't come out our way, I think that sort of that doesn't take anything away from the bonds that we've built as a squad and the incredible experience that I've had this year. Like this doesn't come from me. This is all of them.
Talk us through the emotions just now. You've obviously gone in, had a quick conversation. What's it been like with the boys? Like coming onto the pitch, right? We could see everyone was, you know, really upset, distraught. Talk through the emotion. What's been said?
Just that we're all really proud. We spoke yesterday and last night about soaking it all up and about trying to sort of put into effect what we've done over the last few years, and we can pinpoint exactly where it's gone wrong in the coming weeks and sort of in the run up to next season. But most of what I've said rings true. I think I wouldn't change that for the world, and I wouldn't do anything differently at all. I do it with the same group of boys, exactly the same, with absolutely every experience that we shared along the way. Yeah.
Will, go and join your team. You should have a lot of pride in your performance. So there's huge emotion, but well done for that performance there and for winning that. Not the result you wanted, but a great performance, so well done to you. Thanks very much. And let's bring in the rest of the panel. You can go back to your team. Cheers, Will. Thanks very much. Let's bring in the panel then and have a little final thoughts to the guys, really, because that match ebbed and flowed and ebbed and flowed. We thought just before half-time it was going to be critical what was happening with the 2 yellow cards, and it just came to play out at the end of that second half, didn't it, George?
Yeah, I mean, I think you said it right at half-time. We might not see it straight away, but the fatigue kind of comes through. It didn't necessarily show itself in the fitness levels even. It was more sort of that psychological, mental fatigue that came through. A few key moments that I think, you look back at the tape, you go, if we could have executed, that scrum right towards the end of the game, you get a free kick, and you kind of do a bomb that goes a few metres, and you lose possession. At that stage in the game, that's when you really need to have control of things, and it makes life difficult from there.
When Cambridge missed the kick to touch, it looked like it was all going to go Oxford's way because they got their 15 players back on the pitch. It looked like, hey, this is now going back towards Oxford, but it doesn't go that way sometimes, does it? And it didn't today.
No, it doesn't. And we saw a big, like you talked about, ebbs and flows in the game. Saw a big perceived swing of momentum when Cambridge down here about 48 minutes, missed touch. 2 minutes later, Oxford have got a line out 10 metres out, full accomplishment on the pitch, 50 on 15. You think Oxford are going to do this now, with having kept Cambridge out for that whole 10 minutes down to 13 men. But like you said, George, we probably didn't see the effects of the 13 men during the sin binning period, but probably at the end of the game, like critical line breaks at the end of the game against Oxford down this left edge. The effort from Oxford was brilliant to get back and then sustain 2, 3, 4 phases, but Cambridge just managed to hold possession and then score on the right edge, and probably energy levels weren't quite where they were earlier in the game, having put so much in that 10 minutes.
And every time Tim Andrew got hold of the ball, he looked a real menace. The pace he had, Jack, he just got the ball and he was so hard to deal with, and it seemed as the game went on, his pace was crucial.
Yeah, I think Tim had a really good game. I played against him last year and he had a great game there as well. I think, it comes down to fine margins, call from a ref, a bounce of a ball. Both teams were very good today. I think Cambridge probably deserved to win as well. But going back, I don't think the Blues should be disappointed. The Oxford boys should be disappointed with that. They just keep their heads high. They did well. Some good performance.
I was going to say, the one thing that has been fantastic is that was a proper spectacle. The physicality was fantastic. It's really, it ebbed and flowed, high pressure game. Coming onto the pitch at the end of the game, gosh, the emotions were running high both sides. You had the ecstasy from the Cambridge guys. Obviously, it's the pinnacle for them. Speaking to the skipper after the game, he's like, "That's my last year. I've done it. I'm relieved." He did share. Actually, it was interesting sharing that they've won about 4 or 5 games this season from coming from behind in the last 10 minutes. So I think, looking back, reflecting, you can see that kind of steely determination. This will be all right, to be able to actually turn things around pretty quickly at the end there.
It really was a fantastic spectacle. Not if you're an Oxford fan, perhaps, but still, what a match we just witnessed. Cambridge have made it 3 in a row. Will they be stopped next year? You'll have to wait a whole 365 days to find out. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.
There's a rhythm to things done right. It's not flash or fancy. It's work that weathers and bears. And through life seasons, there's the test of waiting, of seeing if old tricks can hold pace with the new. And it is then, and then, and then again, that those made well sustain. You see, good work bears its teeth to the clock. Better work is a short way.